Welcome back, Scruffs. Apologies for the delay. We promised you some more content after Davey, but sadly I had a bit of a mishap and couldn't quite make it to all the rounds because I'm an absolute bellend. But we're back and we have a good guest for you. Scotty Too Hotty's here with us.
Yeah, baby.
And,
what's up, guys?
We're going to talk about some MotoGP stuff. So nice one for making time for us, dude.
It's all right,
Thanks,
mate.
Busy day. We're currently at Brands and we are next to a beer tent. So if there's some rabble, it's not Scott's fans. It's
actually my dad. I ain't gonna lie, and that's no joke either.
it was actually your dad.
Yeah, it was.
I'd throw some randoms out.
Yeah, he was having an argument about cowboy hats over top hats from Storm Stacey,
There's
Yeah.
no
and that's how I
argument,
got dragged over there.
Oh,
There's,
Well,
not
where's he
really,
off?
there's not really an argument, is there? I hope Storm sees this, but there's no argument. It's cowboy. Yeehaw all the way, boys.
Yes.
Before we get into it, where's the cowboy thing come from?
That's a good question. Where did it come from? I think it come from the Comeback Kid when I went back to Bonovo Ducati World Superbikes.
Yeah.
But I felt like that came about, but that wasn't where it was designed for. I felt like it was designed for me coming back to BSB instead of coming back to Ducati. And then I don't really know how it come into being a cowboy thing, but it turned into a vibe. People love it. It suits me, and I've just ran with it.
It's here to stay.
Fair
Oh,
play.
yeah.
I know you're definitely selling some cowboy hats because we have to print them for you. So he's definitely selling them. I know that much. Every time they put an order in, again, Mark's like, these fucking cowboy hats are so hard to do.
Yeah, if you do a good job, and that's all that matters.
Absolutely, mate. So, I mean, it's pretty well known, your history. Talk about us to your entry. Obviously, you've lived away from home for a long time, and we've spoke before, and it's a pretty ruthless life that led its way for you. So just talk us a little bit about your entry, mate.
Well, obviously when I started racing, I was young, like everyone does, and you kind of get into mini bike riding and you go on. And the biggest factor I struggled with was finding competition. And the biggest thing for me was my dad always wanted me to be beat. This is probably why I don't like being beat anymore. But your age was always the factor. Like you couldn't go to this class because you was too young. So we went to like France and Italy. We went to France. We forged my birth certificate by 2 years. So we did that. We did tell them at the end of it, and they took the championship away from me. They laughed at the same time, but I was racing with full-blown adults on open 50s and banging
you were what
bars.
age at this point?
I reckon I was 10, saying I was 12, because I went to Red Bull Academy at 13. So yeah, I was pretty young. So we did that, which was good, but you had to be always on the ball. Like for me, the moment you're winning comfortably at a young age, you're not learning anymore.
Yeah.
Even now, when I get beat by Carl, I learn something. So at a young age, and when you're a sponge, it's a massive thing. And then we went to Spain for the Calypso Cup. Everyone had the Metric Kit 80, big wheel, same bike, same leather, same helmet. And I dominated it, every lap record, every pole position, won every race. Which was super good because you're in Spain and you're racing sometimes a long Spanish championship. And in Spain, their biggest category was the 125s. It's not the super extreme superbike. People come to watch the 125s, and that's why there's so many great riders out of Spain. So people was obviously looking then, and then I got picked up for the Red Bull Academy. Now it's a Rookies Cup, but it was an academy of 6 riders then. There was me, Taka Nakagami, Jonas Folger, Isaac Vinales, Danny Webb, Kev Cogland, Valentine Derbies came in late to that, and I believe there was someone else, I can't remember. So that was us basically. And
A few
doers, and I was 12 at the time, 12, 13. We were living in Spain in this training centre, just us 6 dudes causing absolute mayhem because we had no real adult looking after us 24/7. We had no TVs. It was 3 guys each in a room. And then, we're just training, chilling, riding, doing, living that life of a Grand Prix rider. But it didn't suit me, that whole Red Bull, top button done up, suited and booted, you can't say this. That never really sat with me well. So we actually decided to go away from that. And it was a fully paid ride, which is massive because I come from a background, not a lot of money. My dad was a lorry driver and he's still a window fitter today. So it was a big ask for us to do that, and I didn't know the ins and outs on the funding side of things then. I was always kept away from it. But we went to Blue Sense Aprilia at the time, and they must have just believed in me because it was the first time I was not winning races, even when I was up against it. So for them to see that when I was with the Red Bull guys, it was like, something's not right here. And next year I finished second in the championship behind Stefan Bradl, who stepped back from Grand Prix. Second round of the year, I was already told I couldn't beat him because he was already leading the championship. I dominated like the last 5-6 rounds by like over 15 seconds.
Jeez.
But then they said, well, we have to take you to GP. So they took me there, and it was like a second, third tier team. Blue Sense never really did anything in their day. And when I went to Qatar, I was 15, just minding my business, qualified on the front row, finished 5th. I don't think they'd ever been in the points before. So they was absolutely over the moon. And it was the same year I was the youngest ever Grand Prix winner. And I had Marc Marquez on the podium. And, people think it's crazy, but I grew up racing Marc Marquez. And believe it or not, I beat him most of the time. And he just grew to be a better rider, different opportunities. But that's the sort of level and caliber of riders I was racing with, weekend in, weekend out. And then after that year, I shot up. So I was 62 kilos. And when I came back for the first round in 2009, I was 72 kilos on a 125. I just had that big growth spurt. I remember I used to look up at the team manager, Ricard Chauvet, does a lot of TV stuff now. And when I came back, I was looking down at him, and he was like, "Okay, what the fuck?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't know what to do." And I was fast that year, but my bike blew up 21 times. I had 2 punctures, had a shock come out, lost 2 exhausts. It was Matteo Pessini's bike the year before when he was on the Polaris, and he was fast, but it kept breaking. It was the same bike, and they changed everything on that bike. Wow. But it just kept blowing up. So after that year, I got no results. I was at home and nobody wanted me. I'm a Brit, which that does not help you going into Grand Prix racing. I had no financial backing, so I was not paying to go anywhere. It was around Christmas time, and my manager at the time was Roger Keys from Fab Racing. Did his best to look after me, and it was Christmas time. I was like, well, what are you going to do? And he says, well, we've got MZ where you can go with. It'll be in Moto2, this new class, whatever. And I was like, well, I don't have anything else. There was nothing come to British Championship, but I just didn't feel that was for me at that point. And then I think it was just after Christmas, we got a call from Michael Bartolini from Mark VDS, who's now my manager, and he's like, we want you. I was like, wait, what? But on the other side of the table, it's a new team. No one's heard of them. It's late. We start testing in January. And it was like, me and taking risks, they don't really pay off that well.
That's surprising to hear, I'll be honest with you. I would have had you down as a risk taker, for
yeah,
sure.
I am a risk taker. I am a risk taker, but it don't normally go in my favour in those ways. So even though odds are against it, I'll do it. And in that situation, I was like, wow, fuck, it's MZ. It's an absolute shed of a bike, which people said was going to be good because it was a copy of a CBR. Or it was go to this unknown team last minute, and I was like, fuck it, do it. We'll do it. I actually was getting paid a little bit of money, which was mad. I was like, it's too good to be true. Yeah. And it turned out to be one of the greatest teams in racing, especially Moto2. And that's how it started. And I said, why did you want me? He said, that first race in Qatar, when I qualified on the front row, he said to someone, he says, I want that guy to ride my bike one day. So it was mad that I had no seat. He managed to get hold of me, and that's where the journey really started getting going for me. Because they took me on like I was a son. And then like my crew chief was Pete Benson. That if you don't know Pete Benson, he calls a spade a spade. If you was ever more than 30 seconds late when you're leaving, you walk into the track, and I've seen it happen multiple times. I experienced it myself. And he was hard with me, and I needed that because I don't really give a fuck what people say. I do what I want to do, which is cool, and it's character, but sometimes you need to be put in your place, and he put me in my place. So he was like 50, so he's quite a bit older than me, but he didn't care. It was literally, he was telling me, and I respected that. So we got a massive bond together where I just felt like he was a bit old school. It wasn't about data. He was like old school testing stuff. Like, we'll go and try it. We'll go into wind tunnels and we'll try stuff they say ain't going to work, and it actually works on track. And I just loved all that about it. And we had good years the first year. The second year, I already said, look, we need to get the Calex because the Suter just ain't working. Yeah. It worked for Mark, but it was only worked for one. And that year was a write-off for me again, so it was quite tough, and I was just struggling a lot. Then we got the Calex, and that's when things started to really fall in my favour. And yeah, after that first year with Calex, got a few podiums, I think 5 podiums, which in Moto2 racing as a Brit is pretty special. And then, yeah, the year after, I just felt real confident, like just had some swagger about me. I felt like in the winter, I was super confident. I was training to beat Paul Espargaro. That I eat and I slept that every time. I went on the bike or I was at home, it was him in my head. I just knew it.
Why Paul? Was it a character thing or just his performances?
I just knew he would be my rival. I don't really know how it came about, but I was like, he will be my rival. And I used to do training like motocross, supermoto, and my assistant guy used to come around me a lot. We'd have the pit board, and I say to him, just, you need to connect and just imagine this in a race right now. And I'd go do like 20, 30-minute motos, and it would be like P2, and I'd be like 0.3 behind, and I'd be like 0.4 behind. And then I'd come back to 0.3 and 0.2, and he'd play with that also with my lap time. So for me, I was like visualizing like, right, I'm behind him, I'm losing a bit, and I'm working a bit more to come back, and then later in the race I get stronger, and then like I do a better lap, I go P1, and the gap would go up, and then the gap would come down. So psychologically, I was just constantly had this pressure that when it happened, I was cool with it. And when we went testing, like, you know, it's a big, you know, dick swinging contest, you know, do the fastest lap end of, you know, testing, that's what we do.
Yeah.
I never did it. So I was always sitting like 5th, 6th, 7th, but using old tyres. And the team were like, they were sweating a bit, you know, like, oh, you know, if you got it, I said, I got it. I've got it. I know it. I can do it on old tyres. I feel good. I'm consistent. And then we went to Qatar through the testing, 5th, 6th, same place. And Paul was, you know, 0.2 ahead, strutting around, you know, life's all good, living the dream. And then qualifying came, and I matched him in qualifying. And then in the race, I was absolutely glued to his wheel. So we was 6, 7 seconds up the road, but I was there. And it was at that moment he realized, what the fuck? Like, maybe he understood I was sandbagging, maybe he didn't. But the whole demeanor changed. And then came the fight after that, because I was on his wheel. I won a couple of races, but he started to make a lot of mistakes because I was putting that constant pressure now. So every session when we had the tyre allocation, I had the same tyre. So when it was used, I was better. When it's new, I was there. So that gap that buffer he had was gone.
Yeah.
And I just pushed that all year until the point like we were throwing shit at each other. Like he'd be like following me. We'd both go in the pits and then going up to podiums and him like trying to pour water on me. And I was like throwing shit at him. But like that was the real racing. Like I wanted to rip his fucking head off.
Yeah.
Like that was it. It was me and him. Like, no one else in that championship in my head. And yeah, unfortunately, it came to me breaking my wrist at Phillip Island. I had a 2-race advantage in points, everything going well. Never broke a bone in my body to that point, and then broke it at Phillip Island. And then it all just spiraled out of control. I got operated on that day, and I woke up and I said, I want to race. I said, I've come this far. I want to race. They cut the race down because I had an issue with the tyres blistering. So it was a 10-lap race. I was like, for 20 minutes, I can take the pain. I will do it. I did not come that far to let it go. It was my left wrist. So do the start, have done with it. And they said, no, you can't do it. You can't do it. And it really like hit a nerve. So I was in the gym that day training because I knew I had Japan 5 days later. And I knew they wasn't going to let me race there. So I was training like I was building up the right side, just doing what I could do. Eating clean, traveling, and got to Japan and like, oh, you got to do the fitness test to be cleared fit. I was like, cool. So what do you want me to do? Like, do 10 push-ups. I'm like, well, my wrist doesn't bend to do 10 push-ups. So, well, you can. I said, yeah, but wait, I don't ride the bike like that.
Yeah.
I ride a bike like this. So I said, can I do them on my fist? They said, yeah. So I did 10 push-ups. And I had fucking pain like you would not believe. Like, I literally was walking out of there in tears, and I absolutely smashed the office up. I was in so much pain. And I just know that they shouldn't have put me through that. You know, do a little bit, do a bit of that. So the FP1 did all the session. I think I was 8th. I felt not great on the bike, but I felt control, I felt good. We have to retake the test. We don't know if you're fit enough. And I said, I did the whole session, FP1, FP2. Didn't sit any laps out, did it all. And I had a carbon splint made while I was in Australia. So So I go in and I'm like, okay, let's do it. And then they said, oh, we'll do this and this. And like, I'm in pain. And I'm like, nah, it's good, it's good. And then the doctor said, all right, I'm going to hold your fist and I'm going to pull it and you have to hold it because, you know, you're going to have tank slappers. I said, I've never had a tank slapper on a Moto2, but okay. And I remember when he was doing it, I could feel that it was like moving inside. I was looking in his eyes and I'm like, it's okay, I've got it. And he's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, I've got it. And again, I just broke down into tears when I left, and it's just so much pain. And then they come in, they said, oh yeah, you can't ride with that. I'm like, what the fuck? So like, you don't want me to race. Why? Because the Spanish guy that can win the championship, he's got a great opportunity. So I fucked the brace off, and I rode with no brace, qualified 12th. I just needed points. That's all I needed. And went off to the start, first corner at Motegi's a double apex right-hander, third gear coming out. And I saw something happen. And the doctor said to me in Australia, if you break your wrist again, your career will be over. So as I saw this happening, you know when you just in the wrong place at the wrong time? That was me. So the bikes were splitting. Tito Rabat was crashed and I saw him. So I tried to avoid him, but then I was hitting the bike. So I remember it was all slow motion. I just clipped him. I was like, fuck. So I pulled a hand load of brake. I took my hand off. You watch the video. I just took my hand off and just fucking straight into the bike, straight over the bars. Fucking knocked out again. I was led on the floor. I come around. I was like, what the fuck? My elbow was literally out to here. I had like half a basketball on my back. Getting stretchered off. I was fucked. I was getting stretchered off. They dropped me on the stretcher. And I was in hospital. He won the race and... championship was done. I was just like, it was so close to be, but just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
And I kept trying to swim upstream, and it just kept putting me back in my place. So I always say, when championships are won, the stars have got to align. You can't just raw dog it and just keep like, if it's meant to be, it will be. If it ain't, it ain't. And for me, it wasn't. But that dog mentality from growing up was like, I can still do this. And even when we went to Valencia, which was 5 days after that, all left-hand corners, guess what? Scott could also not finish second in the championship. So I had to do the race weekend. I needed to get a couple of points because if Tito won and I had no points, I'd be third. And Spain, Tito, quite good. So I got through that. I think I finished 12th or 13th. He didn't win. Luckily, I got second in championship. And, you know, it hurt me that I came so far for that not quite to happen because between first and second in World Championships is a big deal. To me, being second World Championship doesn't mean anything. Like, I've got the medal, but it means nothing.
Yeah, you want to win it.
I want to win, and that's what we want to do. But the fact is like, from outside, I look back now, and I'm like, that was fucking good. Like, probably the best any British rider has done for a very long time. And the fact I couldn't enjoy it in that moment because I was so drilled in about winning is the thing with the whole MotoGP thing for me. Like, it was just hard to enjoy it. So once I got that championship thing by and let it go, I had a MotoGP contract. So it dampened the blow a little bit. And that's how I got into MotoGP. And I was with Grassini going fun. Bike, you know, the team was good, but the bike was a shed. It was so slow. It was basically an open Honda Cup, me versus Nicky and Oyama, and that was it. And that was a bit of a shame. We had a couple of good results, which shouldn't have actually happened on that. And then I went to Honda again with Mark VDS, so they built a MotoGP team. And we went with Honda, and I just kind of said we shouldn't, but it was the best package, and you get the factory bike and all the bullshit you get told, and you don't. Or you do, and then they change, and you stay with the same. And it was the hardest bike Marc Marquez has rode from Honda. I speak with Mark, you know, not every day, but we speak. And he said, like, I felt sorry for you because after 3 rounds, when we changed back to the old bike and you were stuck with it, I know what your struggle was. Yeah. Mark was not even in the podium. For me, the greatest rider of all time. And you expect me to be top 5? And they changed the chassis and on the podium next week, him and Danny. But we wasn't allowed it. So that, for me, again, was wounding me because I know I wouldn't have been winning, but I would have been competitive and at least felt like I had something. So I decided to leave the team that was probably built for me. Yeah. And I just said to Michael, like, I just can't do this for another year. Because not only not winning, when I feel like I'm not able to show my potential, that hurts me a lot. And you can probably see it in my career when I'm just like, all right, I'm done with that. I don't want to do it. It's not about the result. It's the fact I can't do what I feel I can do. And so from there, I went to Pramac Ducati because I thought that could be a good bike for me. And that's when things got good for me. I jumped straight onto that bike, gelled with it straight away. But again, it's a satellite bike. We didn't have seamless gearbox for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Factory bikes did. It's not a big gain, but it's something that you're racing against the best riders in the world on factory bikes. So you have a satellite bike, different RPM, different this, different that. It's good enough, but you ain't going to win on it. Nowadays, they are quite comparable, which I think's better, and that's how it should be. And I had a couple of good results. I got a podium in that Honda year, actually, in MotoGP with Mark VDS. Crashed in Misano because it was raining on slicks. I thought, I'm just going to go. Crashed. Didn't really understand the rules. Came in, got wet, went out, started drying up, and I thought, fuck it, I'll go in again and get slicks because I'm anyway, don't even know how many laps behind. Went in for slicks, come back out, 21st, 15, 13. I'm looking at the board like going, what? 10, 6, 5. I'm thinking, hell no. And ended up finishing 3rd after crashing out in 2 pit stops. Absolutely mental. It was meant to be. It was meant to be. So it was one of them. I went to the Pramac. Felt good straight away, actually. I was under lap record at Jerez, 2/10 quicker than Marquez, which was nice. I know he was trying to crash a few times. So that was good. Went to Qatar, again, top 3, top 4 on the timesheets. Felt mega. I was like, this is my year. Like, not winning, but I'll be there. And we went away for 2 weeks. We come back and I lost 0.6 of a second. And I never ever got it back. So it was quite weird how some things happen. I don't believe me as a rider changed from 1 week to the next. I don't believe the track changed that much. But I just don't know if my face fitted the picture. So something changed, and that's kind of how it went all year long. And I had a 3rd in Assen on MotoGP, and I just couldn't really get my foot going. I was top 10. I looked at the results actually about 3 weeks ago, just looked through, and I was like, fucking hell, I had a 4th there, I was 5th there, I had a 6th. I was average like 10 to 13, but I had quite a lot of top 10s where even I was like, fuck, I don't even remember doing that. Yeah. So that was cool. And then the second year was the same thing, but then we did this within the team. We had whoever got the most points got the factory bike the year after. So I was like, fucking game on.
Give me that bike, baby.
I already had way more points than Danilo. He did have an injury, and then he came back. And again, just got a little bit harder for me again. It's got a little bit tougher. And then Petrucci took me out in Aragon, ran me off the track at another place, and that was that. Really, it was it's racing. I'm not going to complain about it. So he got the factory bike. I never got it. And then I moved to Aprilia from that. I think it was 2 years I did there. So it's 5 years total. But MotoGP is a very strange one. There's like a lot of things happen, that don't make sense to me. And that was why when I decided to leave after Aprilia, it was the right thing for me to do. Mm-hmm. So I went to Aprilia and we tried the new bike in Sepang. And straight away I was about 0.5 slower. And I just said, no way. Like, this is nowhere near as good as that. Yeah, we'll try suspension. All right, we'll try it. Went out, down to about 0.4, 0.3 compared to the other bike. I said, it don't work. I'm going into corners and the bike's going where it should not be that far different. So Alage goes out, is glued behind someone, does 1 lap, a 10th quicker. Oh, this is the bike. I'm like, fuck, no. And that's how it stayed. And, I tried loads of stuff. I was developing that bike so much, working with them in so much detail. And then we got halfway through the year and I said, let's just fucking try the old bike. And they laughed at me. They laughed at me across the table like, don't be so stupid. Big office, like 12 fucking guys there. And I'm like, but let's just try. We've tried everything. We've tried shit that's dangerous. We've tried shit that didn't really work. We've tried it all. Let's just try. And they laughed. And then probably a month goes by. And then I see Espargaro's in Aragon testing. And I'm sat at home. Bearing in mind, we always go together. I was like, oh, right, what you do? And he's like, oh, no, we're testing here. We're testing the old bike.
No.
What? So I was a bit confused, and I let it go. I said, "Oh, just let me know. Like, at least if one of us does it, that's fine. I don't mind. You know, I don't have to be the guinea pig. You can go and whatever." So he messaged me after lunch, and he goes, "Bro, 6 laps, 0.4 quicker."
No.
Well,
So I messaged them. I said, "Well, nice to know I was, going testing. Oh, we only had one bike. So this is the latter part. Oh, okay. How was it? Yeah, it was better for this and for that." I said, "But I fucking told you this and you laughed at me." "Yeah, but this." "All right, whatever, cool. So when do I get to test it?" No, we only have one bike, not so many parts, so we're going to give to Alege." I'm like, my fucking idea for a start. And that from that race on, we were always kind of together. He had better one lap than me, but we were in ballpark. It was give and take. But as soon as he got that, that's when he jumped back being somewhat competitive. And that bike we raced that year, they crushed it and just threw it away and started again. And that for me was just such a hard pill to swallow that, again, it's like I always seem to be at the wrong moment, the right time at the wrong moment. And that was just hard because then my career was finished. I'd fell out of love with the sport. Even when it was wet, I could do well on that bike. I potentially think I could finish on the podium. But any race we went to where it was expected rain, I had zero grip. But when we went to a track where the rain accidentally came, I was top 3. So something somewhere just was not fucking lining up for me. I don't want to throw anyone under the truck. I don't want to get myself in trouble. But there's just things that it ain't quite what you think it is. And I've been there and experienced it on the good and the bad. At Silverstone, I was there with Ducati, and we had the soft rear tyre. I was 6th, 7th qualifying, but went for the soft for the race, which I never really do because I'm bigger. But it was Michelin. Michelin said, "No, keep that soft, Scott." And I was like, "All right." And sun came out. Like, in the UK, sun, that fucking track temperature went up through the roof. Everyone's running around for hard rear tyres. Like, you can hear everyone changing. Hard comes in, Rossi, hard, Danilo, hard. I'm going, fucking hell, mate. I need to go for the hard because I have higher tyre wear. He goes, no, stay with the soft. I said, nah, there's no way. It's Silverstone? There's no way. He goes, just trust me. I said, can I trust you? And he's like, nah, just trust me. It'll work. And fuck me, did it work? Most of my laps were matching my qualifying lap, and I felt amazing. And I think I finished, again, 6th or something. But my problem is I looked after that tyre so much because I was so terrified that I didn't use the full potential. And then that's how I experienced it. And the tyre worked great. And to be honest, I was going through quite a bit of depression in Aprilia, not going to lie. I just didn't know a way out. And yeah, I did the usual, started drinking, partying. I am a partier anyway. Like, this in my DNA. We said about my dad outside. Like, that's just how it is.
Pint before you come in.
We like to party.
And it was bad, and I really did lose my head. And I thought, how can I fix this? So I went to Italy with just me and my dog. I rented a place. I was there for 2 months on my own. Didn't really know anyone. I like 3 guys from Grassini. Didn't know anyone. I was just thinking, like, is this my time to stop? Like, I just feel like I've just been swimming upstream for a long time right now, and I can't do anything right. I like winning. That's what I do. And then I just, fuck it, just retire. And then I did, and I was like, we'll see. And one day I just thought, you know what? I got more life left in me. Bearing in mind at this point I've got snapped ligaments in my ankle, and it's like snowing outside, and I'm on my own trying to walk the dog in the ice. Fucking 2 weeks after, slid out on the crutches, back to square one. I just was like, this just ain't for me anymore. Then I thought, I got it. Let's do it. So I phoned my manager up and said, listen, I want to have another shot. It can be a bike, a horse, a jet ski, a quad. I don't care what it is, but I want a team that have the background of winning. They have championships. It's a good bike and a good team, and I want to prove to myself. And if I can't, then that's me done. I peaked, and that's it. And that's how I ended back up in BSB. Because when we was looking at World Superbikes, it was all how much you're going to pay. I went, what do you mean pay? I'm not going to pay. Never did that in my life because we don't have the money to pay. So he said, what about BSB? I said, I don't care. It honestly could have been fucking horse racing. At this point, give me a fucking horse that wins.
You're way too big for that.
but that's,
You'll get into the trap, would you? On the
I'd be carrying the horse. Anything to win. So like, that's how that come about. And then this came with Birdie. And I thought, fuck it. Like, no traction control, no wheelie control. Not rode a production bike. Don't know the tracks. I've literally never rode the tracks, and I just thought, fuck it, just go. You know,
Cadwell, August Bank Holiday, never ridden there before.
It's mental. And you know, the thing is like, the difference is now when I'm here is my back end against the wall. When I came in 19, that was the sink or swim for me. So when people said like, how did you do it? The straight answer, I didn't have a fucking choice. If I wanted my career back, I had to win the championship.
Yeah.
So when I was going to these tracks, now let's roll it back a bit. So when I got this deal signed, I was in Spain with these broken ligaments that no one knew, Italy, no one knew about. So that all got sorted. So right, let's go to Spain, let's get onto a training bike and start training, getting back to it. So if I can get to Spain, do my first bike ride, because my foot, I just started to do a bit of a run about 4 days into training. And I was training with Jake Dixon at the time. And then my mechanic, Sam Neat, was there, and Tito was kicking about. And we was at what is now the Aspar circuit.
Yeah.
So I've been riding the Ducati all day, and I was fucking feeling good. I was like I still got it, and I was loving it. Then we went to go on the mini circuit with the Ovales or Bucci or something we was running at the time. And this is when disaster struck, because the top of the carburetor come off, so the throttle stuck open on a 190. And that's when I broke my femur. I lost the front because I grabbed the brake and I saw a gap in the tyre wall. I thought, fuck, I need to go through that. So I guided myself through, but as I went through, same as fucking anything, I tried to find the right way, and the other side there was concrete block, which was a drainage thing. So it was that big. It was 1 meter by 1 meter, and you know you have the metal lids on them. It was turned, so it was like easy to get on and off. It wasn't in.
Slide off.
Well, I hit that. That cut my femur open, cut my arm open, and I was led on the track, pissing out blood. Sam and Jake looked, and they're like, I could see the look in their face. I was like, this is not good. Had no pain, but I was like, this is serious. And I was like, need ambulance. We're all shouting around. There ain't no ambulance. Oh, fuck. So start getting bits of rope and all sorts to tie my leg up to stop the bleeding. Sam was like, you're fucking bleeding a lot, bro. I was like, just don't fucking tell me. I could see the pure fear in their face at this time. I reckon I was there about 30 minutes.
Shit.
And everyone was panicking, and I was just like, maybe it's just my time. I've come back again, and I've been fucking shut down again. And I was there just kind of just chilling. I ain't gonna lie, but 20 minutes went by, and I was like, I'll be honest, boys, I don't think I'm gonna make it. Like, I could feel my eyes wanting to close. And I remember Sam saying, just, no, don't close your eyes, don't close your eyes. I said, yeah, but I'm fucking tired. I was like, I started to lose it at this point. I was like, I want to go to sleep. I'm so tired. He's like, don't shut your eyes, don't. I'm like, and it just kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And then at just one moment, I just heard the sirens of the ambulance. So at this point, my eyes were fucking closed. I was just like,
shit.
Fuck it. It is what it is. But that, like, gave me that little bit more inside. Then they come over, did all the way up to do. And then I was in hospital in Valencia. But when I broke my femur, where it opened the skin, it pushed all dirt. So I had like dirt and stones all up in my pelvis. And I had a stone like the size of my thumb in here. Jesus. So I was on my own in this hospital at this time. I think Sam was looking after my dogs, which me and my dog was there. So I was in hospital for like 2-3 days, and I was like in and out of consciousness the whole time. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I wasn't even in a room. I was in the corridor because it was so busy. I remember I couldn't control my stomach. I was like having these sweats, and I was like, no one spoke English. I was like, what the fuck? Then they'd come in and they would like open the wound to try and clean it. And I was like, just do what you got to do. Like the pain was up there. And I said, just do what you got to do. Stitched it back up. Next day, tried again. They couldn't get the stone. And they said, if we open it again, we're going to have to potentially put a vacuum in it to hold it closed. But like nothing was really being done. And so I was speaking with Tito at this time. So I think my dad wasn't even out at that time. I was still on my own. Sam had to go back. So I was left on my own. Jake was still training around there, so worst case had someone. And then Tito was there, Tito Rabat.
Yeah.
And we're good friends, been teammates before. And he was there and he said to me, you know, you need to go. We need to get you out of here and get you to Barcelona. I said, fuck me, I'm done. I don't know what fucking day it is. And so it ended up, they didn't want to discharge me for some reason. I think it was to do with the situation there.
Yeah.
So he organised me a private ambulance. It was literally a transit van with a bed in the back. And he basically walked me out the hospital, put me in the back of this van, and I was 3 hours to Barcelona. No meds anymore, just literally raw dogged it, staring at the roof, 3 hours, with some geezer that didn't speak one word of English, not one word of English. And I remember I got to Barcelona to the hospital where like Dr. Mir and that is where all the MotoGP guys go. I remember coming out the back, I just threw my credit card across the table and they rushed me straight in immediately. And then they was able to get the debris out, had to cut it up a lot more. I woke up in intensive care. I remember coming round at like one point and I was like, what the fuck's going on? And I recognized her face and I was like, gone again. They said, yeah, I woke up, went into intensive care for a bit. And then that was before, no, that was after I signed the deal with Paul. Paul didn't know any of this happened, but then he got wind because Sam was my mechanic, worked for Paul. He got wind. And love him or hate him, you know, God bless. He said to me, you ain't no use to me anymore. And I was like, fuck. Like, I've just been through all that. Here we go again. So I said to him, I said, you know what? Just give me the first test at Monte Blanco. Just let me the first test. He said, I'll give you the test. And if you ain't no good, you know, sorry, but I'm going to have to let you go. Oh, and by the way, no one can know that you're injured. Fuck. So I was in the hospital and I got off the phone. I was like, all right, you know, situation. The doctor said, you know, you're going to need like minimum 8 weeks, probably like 10. And I said, that's cool because I got 4. He goes, it's impossible. He said, it's impossible. I said, well, I don't disagree with you, but I just going to have to pretend that ain't an option. It ain't an option. I'm not even going to pretend. So about 3 days, I was able to walk. So I could walk out of the hospital.
So was it rodded?
2 pins in there.
Pins, right, okay.
So it was like, for me, it was solid. I never saw x-rayed. Could be a rod in there. Don't want to know. Don't care. So the issue I had, because I lost so much blood, every time I sat up, it was like grey. It was mad. It was like my vision was black and white with a little bit of colour, and then I'd just go whoom, and I'd just pass out again. And the old nurse in there, she was like 50, 60. She get the alcohol, the cleaner, get that, put it under my nose to bring me back round. I'm like, okay, here we go. And that happened for a couple of days. So then they sort of like, I said, they got the jetting right, got the fuel mixture, a bit more blood in there. And then once I could sort of sit up and see colour, that's when I could start walking. But the biggest problem I faced, I couldn't bend my leg because of the impact. I had a hematoma under the muscle. So I couldn't bend my leg to there. I was no way I was going to get on the bike. So I think it was like 10 days I got home. And every day, my dad come out at this point. Every day, I tried to walk up a step. I couldn't even get up a step to bend my leg. But we'd do that for like 20 minutes. Then we'd rest because I was like super tired with everything that's gone on. And then we'd go down to the beach. So I'd like kind of walk to the beach, kind of walk on the sand, try and get it moving. It's like Rocky shit, like just super old school. But
volcanic rock.
Just doing what you can do. And then I was getting in the sea because for me, it's like a lot of minerals in there, working on balance and you know, sand going underneath. I would do that, I'd go back, try some more steps, go to sleep. Then I'd go to physio, where I cried my eyes out every single day because they literally were forcing to bend it. I honestly thought the femur was going to just snap out my skin. But they did a great job. When we do that, I'd go back and I wouldn't be able to bend it anymore. Then I would go to the gym and I would try and get on I call them the granny bikes, the sit back ones. Because I could like kind of get a cushion and I would like just get a bit of rotation because they said to me, the moment you can start to move it, it'll be able to break it down. So for me, that was the key point.
Yeah.
So it's like, no pedal, go downstairs in the swimming pool, walk in the swimming pool, go home. I get kicked out at 10 o'clock, I just do that daily. Then once I got that first rotation, then it was 2, then it was 3. And then it was about 3 weeks, I would say. Every day, I was trying to sit on the motocross bike, every day in the garage. Because I thought if I could get on it, I can ride supermoto. And if I can ride supermoto, I know I'll be able to go past a pain barrier that I can't get through right now. And the day I sat on the motocross bike, I called Tito. I was like, bro, I need that supermoto. He says, yep, go to the circuit. There's the keys. Do what you want. So I got to the circuit. I had to get on the pedal on the bike. So I was on my turbo, 5 minutes, could get it warm, run over, get on the bike, ride. I like get round. I was like putting motos in the day, but my leg was progressively getting so much better because I was putting force in it, but I'm not thinking about the pain. And then 2 days after that, it was a track day at Valencia. So we're coming in at like 3 weeks and 4 days. And same thing, I was at the back of the garage, and this was bike promotion. They helped me a lot with that. They've been great to me. On the bike, everyone's like, what the fuck? Like, why is he warming up for a track day? But I couldn't tell anyone. This is the thing, I couldn't show I was limping.
That's the secret. That's how you go.
Everyone's on the pedals. So I was like, get on the bike, get my leg on, and then ride. And I was still fast, so that was a good thing. So then went from there, I said, Paul, I'll be there. And I got to Monte Blanco, and first thing, I think it was Loza actually, he says to me, oh, what's happened? I said, I just fucking twisted my ankle. You know, I'm all good. Obviously, later on, people found out. Took the lap record, topped both times. I said, Paul, where are we at? And he's like, bro, I don't know.
Note on that contract.
You know, but the difference is, like, I don't know if I could do that now. It was literally that no other choice but to do it. You know, it was, I didn't have another option. I did, but it was an option I wanted to take.
Yeah.
And if I wanted my career to be longer, I couldn't just come to BSB and ride round. I had to try and win as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, learning places like Cadwell. My first race, Andrew Irwin took me out at Silverstone.
Who?
Andrew Irwin, my best mate now, actually, believe it or not. It goes around. Took me out, landed on my right hip, and I was in pain. And then he took me out again at Cadwell the same year, hit that hip. So yeah, it's a love-hate relationship between us, but we are friends now. We're all good. And it's just been an up and down ride, mate, to be honest. But I think that's what's been quite different. But then you look at Marquez, and he's also had a rough ride.
Well, let's strip it back because, dude, you've reeled off like 20 years of your career there. And like we've said nothing. And so many times I was like, well, I need to ask that because I watch podcasts often and there's an opportunity to ask a question and they don't.
Yeah.
And you've been very good at being PC, and I'm not asking you to throw people under the bus, but I've got a few questions. And Marquez is one of them. Because you were at the same level as Marquez. And from telling your story, it appears to me from the outside, a lot of that comes down to being British.
Potentially.
Did you always feel that? Did you feel paranoid? Was it obvious? Was it more in certain areas? Like everything seemed in my head. I was like, is it because he's British? Is it because he's British?
That was always a big thing being spoken about, and it plays a part, of course. But the biggest part is the money and funding that Marc Marquez got that Scott Redding didn't.
Okay.
Scott was riding a third-tier team, winning a British Grand Prix. Marc Marquez was riding Red Bull KTM at the time, which is a factory KTM team.
Yeah.
That was the start. And then he was backed by Repsol. And when he went to Moto2, he had his own team with his own crew, which then all went to MotoGP with him. So that was the difference, is he had a lot of funding behind him. And no, the first year he was Repsol KTM. And then second year he went factory KTM. And then he went to IO, which was basically the Red Bull factory Aprilia team. So he was always on the best material. And then we went to Moto2. He had his own team with best guys around him. When he went to MotoGP, they took out the 2-year... If you're a newcomer, a rookie, it was 2 years in a satellite team, then you can go factory. That rule was in for 2 years. When Marquez came, that rule was gone, straight into factory Honda. You know, people be like, oh, yeah, this and that is what it is. I'm not complaining about it. It just is what it is. But they're potentially the differences.
So devil's advocate, say now what's a good example? You're Lewis Hamilton in MotoGP and Tommy Hilfiger's your sponsor, not the team sponsor. And you go to MotoGP with that sponsor, shit ton of money. And you go straight to the top team-wise. Do you think your future would have been different?
Yeah, I think so. Because it's not only about the bike. It was like he had mentors and people looking after me. I was just the rogue kid doing everything he probably shouldn't have been doing, but I was having a good time along the way. And that was probably the difference, is I lived my normal upbringing life in a world that you can't. But I was always told not to be any different. And really, I probably should have been. And then maybe other doors would have opened. But then you're not being yourself. And I feel like I've got a good fan base because I've always been very open and I wear my heart on my sleeve and I say it is what it is.
Yeah.
But like, you know, when's the last time Marc Marquez had a different haircut?
I can guarantee most of those top boys in MotoGP, when they're 50, will have all the regrets of not living life in a different way.
Potentially, but they'll be spinning around on yachts and
for
doing
sure.
they'll have all that sort of stuff. But
they won't be at Cadwell, that's for sure.
no, I don't think so. As much as I'd love to see it, you don't think they'd be there.
It.
So there is a part to it, but I don't think the British passport is all of it. I think the passport is the name people give it as an excuse as to why we don't do more for our riders.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Why don't we have big British companies going, oh, we've got one of the best British riders in the world, won a British Grand Prix, the future's massive, let's go get him on that factory Red Bull bike at IO.
Still not happening now.
That's the problem, whereas Mark had Repsol and Red Bull.
Yeah.
Massive.
You can't compete against that.
And that's the thing, you're taking whatever's left and you're expected to do miracles.
Yeah.
And you just can't do it. I got away with it. I did it for a bit, but it just runs out.
I'd say you're lucky that you didn't have bigger injuries in MotoGP because you obviously were riding hard a lot of that career.
And the thing is like you can ride as hard, but there's only a limit you can go to.
Yeah.
And then you can go over the limit and you just crash. So when I got on the podium in Assen, I was like, fuck, now is my time. I went to Sachsenring, P1, lap 1, lap 2, lap 3, crash. Went in, because everyone's been G'ing me up, like, you've got to get, it was like, you have to get results now. So sink or swim again, fuck it, I'll go. So I was P1, crash, ran back, got the next bike, out again, crash. FP3, crash. And it's like, well, what am I actually gaining here? Then it's, oh, well, you're just crashing all the time. My bike should not be there, and you're trying to make me push it there against the best guys, Valentino Rossi, Jorge Lorenzo, Andrea Dovizioso. These are names I'm reeling off. They're on factory bikes. You want me to be somewhat close on a half a satellite bike? It ain't going to happen.
No.
And that's the problem we have. Even now with the young British riders, like, they're capped on their age. You know, they can't do X amount of races being young. That's why we packed out. We made our own choice. We went to France. Yeah, it cost money. We had to cut corners and do what we had to do. But we did it. But if we was to stay here, I would not have been where I would have been.
No.
And that's why there's less than a handful of riders from England that even get to MotoGP.
Looking at Cal now tells you the situation, and Cal's gone back as a stepping rider. That just goes to just show the state of MotoGP at the minute.
Yeah.
And I suppose with BSB as well, you know, there's definitely a talent shortage in terms of a superbike.
Oh, do you know what though? I'll be frankly honest. I don't think there is.
I think money's the issue, I think, with teams.
Yeah, money's...
I think the teams can't afford to bring through a rider or to give them a punt.
Potentially, but they're all young.
Yeah.
For BSB is an old man's championship. That's what it was known as. World Superbike BSB. Look at fucking Key and Ari back in the day.
True.
It's an old boys championship, but they're experienced. Now, I am most of the time the only guy in the top 5 that has a kid. I'm the older guy. I'm 33. I see the talent that we have there. Take them on to world level. Will they be good? I'll be honest, probably not. Why? Because they're not experienced on those tracks from that age.
Yeah.
You bring some of the world superbike guys over here, and your people like Max Cook, Carl Ride, Brad Ray, they will be competitive with them.
Yeah.
But when you take them into their sport, they don't stand a chance.
No.
Yeah.
And that's why it's quite hard, because from a young age, they didn't build that experience. Whereas I was racing on big tracks when I was 12, 11, doing that Calypso Cup. I was going around Catalonia, Valencia. I was racing a Metrokit 70 at like 10 years old.
A 10-minute lap.
Yeah, I found I was the only ever guy to go under 2 minutes around Catalonia on an 80cc. 125 was doing 152 then. I did it under 2 minutes.
Jeez.
But that's like, I had that experience, and that's what made the difference. So I wouldn't say the level's low. So the level now in BSB is the highest for me that it's ever been.
Yeah.
We got a harder tyre to slow us down, breaking lap records. Slowing the bikes down, breaking lap records.
Lower revs.
You know what I mean? And so I have to disagree with that. It's just different.
Yeah.
They can't step up there, but it's not because of the talent here is low. It's the toughest year I've been at.
To compete at. In fairness, in my defence, I'm at the depth outside of this championship. So your stock, your super sport.
Yeah.
Because in super sport, there are a lot of older riders as well. The top guys are all either ex-superbike or tried it and failed, or not succeeded. So that's what I meant by that. But you are absolutely bang on in terms of the boys going over there.
It's a hard one to get the whole stepping stone thing to go there, because we're racing we're racing basically road bikes.
Yeah.
And then you're expected to get onto a race bike. Ain't gonna happen.
No.
You can go race bike to road bike because it's just easier. When I stepped from MotoGP to Superbike, it was like a dream. Everything just slowed down.
It worked.
But you go the other way.
Yeah.
And that's a steep, and that's what I say, when you not only you change the bike, when you go to World Championship, the level's higher. It's cutthroat. They don't give an inch at any moment. There's no messing around waiting, this. Like, it is on from when that light goes green out of pit lane FP1. They want each other's throats.
Yeah.
It's just a different mentality of racers over there.
I've got one question, which was before I wanted to ask you. Michael, talk to me about Michael, because managers in BSB are a bit of a, how do I word this so that sound like a cock? Not many of them have them, but they're very different to what motorsport managers used to be. And I feel like Michael's probably one of the only old school managers floating around this area still. So I'm keen to know why you've still got him, what benefit he is to you in your career, and just your relationship. Because I'd love to get like a manager and a rider on the pod to talk about the history and how it works. But I've got you now. So just talk to me about Michael.
I'd probably say he's not the most liked guy in the paddock, but there's a reason for that. And it's because his job is to look after me.
Which I'm sure is not easy.
But no, it's not easy, but that's the priority, and everything else needs to come second to it. But also, like, he's old school, where if he thinks it needs to be like this, it will need to be like that. It's no like umming and ahhing, maybe a bit of this and a bit of that. No, like, we're having it on paper. It's going to say this, and this is what it's going to be. But it's because he's protecting me. I employ him.
Yeah.
He's protecting me, not any team that I've ridden for. And his whole purpose, like he said to me when I signed for him, one day I would love to make you a millionaire. When you retire, you can go live your life. And that is his goal, and I can't take that away from him. I've been through thick and thin. He took me under his arm in 2010.
When they started the VDS team?
VDS team. We're halfway through that year, and something happened. I said to him, I got no money. I don't know if I was riding a scooter to the airport, mad shit. And it was summer, and he's like, what do you mean you got no money? I'm paying you. And I said, I got a bit of money then. I said, I'm living on £500 a month. And I give 400 and some of that to my sister to help her afford her house. I was living off of nothing. And he sat scratching his head. And then he started to dive into it, and he's like, they ain't looking after you like you think. And the long story come out, and I was in a lot of trouble. Luckily, I was under the age of 16 when I signed the contract. That I had leeway when I was over 16, but I would have been in a right lot of trouble. I'd have been owing money to people left, right, and centre, which is, shouldn't be shafting the rider,
No.
So then I was like, you know what, like, he wants to look after me. Sure, he's going to take a percent. He has to.
Yeah.
But then it's like I became a child to him. And he always says I'm like his fourth or fifth child he has. Like
the
his
fifth child he never wanted.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's how he says it. But he's like, that's why I'm there for you. I do the best I can. And he has negotiated me good deals, but that is his job.
Yeah.
And, it's good to have someone like him. And like I say, a lot of people, like, maybe rubs them the wrong way, but you've got to be strong in this game. Otherwise, people just pull your pants down.
Yeah.
And it's if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I am today. And that's what I have to explain to some people, is like, he gave me the opportunity, but he also financially, through my career, has put me on the higher level of what I was able to achieve.
Yeah.
And that's something, if I managed myself, I would be nowhere near what I've got now.
No.
And I appreciate that from him, and there's not many of those guys out there anymore. I don't know how much money I got in the bank today. I don't know.
You genuinely don't?
I don't know. Never asked him.
Jace does.
Never asked him. I don't know. When the day comes where we split, it will all be revealed.
No way.
But I just know that he's got me at best interest. Sure, again, there's stuff in it for him. But it's that sort of relationship I want to have. And my only thing with him is I am your only rider. you don't have 5 or 6. It's just me, and he agreed to that. We have had other riders that he's helped. He helped Eugene. He helped some young Belgian guy. Helped Rinaldi.
Yeah.
Sometimes helped Ollie Bayliss a bit. Like I'm cool with, especially now I'm older. Like do whatever you want. But when that day it was about me and him.
I love that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, you got any questions?
No. Are you pleased to be back at BSB?
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm here because I want to be here.
Yeah, I thought so.
I could have stayed in Worlds, but
With who?
I can't say.
Yes, you can. What are you on about?
I could have stayed in Worlds, but to be honest with you,
Would it have been competitive?
maybe.
Okay.
That's the problem. I just didn't want this maybe.
Yeah.
The whole thing, like, that was the first year that I had to put some of my own money into a project,
Yeah.
and it just shouldn't have done it. You know, there was not 1% of me thought I couldn't win races, and everything happened except winning races, and it went the wrong way. It is what it is.
Dude, I couldn't stand World Superbikes, and when you went back there, I felt like a bit of a fan again, and it was quite exciting to see someone right at the top as an English
It
rider.
was good because there was me, Johnny, Top Rack, and then someone kicking in. But like between us, we didn't know who was going to win the race. Like I could win one, Johnny win one, and Top Rack could win one.
Yeah.
It was great racing to be in and to watch. But coming back to BSB, like after all that, I'm just fed up with the pressure and the stress of like trying to perform more than what is capable.
Yeah.
You're enjoying your riding again.
Well, I
basically
came here, and I'll be honest, I went to Knockhill, and I said to my family, you know, win, lose, whatever, I don't care. I just want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I went home, and like, I think I finished 6th or 8th, I can't remember. It wasn't very good. I said to JC, I fucking love that. She's like, what? I said, I just fucking
In the
love
rain.
that. I just felt like I was pushing my limit and I couldn't win. But I was the problem, not the bike.
Yeah.
And so when I decided to stay, I just said, listen, like, whether I'm first, whether I'm 4th, it don't matter. Like, I have nothing to prove to anyone. There's no one I need to prove to. Been in 125s, been in MotoGP, Moto2, runner-up, World Superbike, runner-up, won fucking don't know how many races, how many podiums. What do I need to prove? I'm doing this now because I want to come and do it, and I've never had that in my whole career. So it's fun, but I want to win. So
Yeah. Good. It's nice to see you bringing up your family trackside as well, because I'm sure at Worlds that would have been difficult. Different balance for sure.
yeah, and it was hard once we got Hudson. That put
set there.
a little spanner in the works. The travelling came hard. I hate travelling anyway, doing it forever. So when he came along, it was difficult. We did the best we could, but for me, driving to the races, can be home Sunday night. He loves being here, you know, and we just enjoy it. And like for me now at 33, I ain't peaking, you know, like I'm quite honest with myself. Couple more years here. I'd like to do Suzuka. I would like to do Daytona potentially, and then I'd like to go do Moto America, and then, you know, I'd like to buy an RV and go race to race and tour. Like,
Sick.
if I win championships along the way, cool. If I don't, it
okay
don't
with
really
that?
matter.
So be it.
Love it, dude. Mate, thank you so much
Great
for your
stuff.
time.
Thanks,
It's
No
been a
worries.
pleasure. You've done a lot of talking, mate. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
I get going. I can't stop.
No, that's what people want to hear. And yeah, if they've got any questions, I'll get some answers off you for the
Yeah,
fans.
absolutely.
Nice one, dude.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers,
Thank you.
boys.